Okay. So what I think would be great, since we want all of you to be able to connect with each other and share ideas, it would be great if you all wouldn't mind introducing yourself and letting everyone know what group you're with so that we all have a good sense of who is on the call today. So I'm just going to go around and say your name, and if you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, that would be fantastic. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. So we'll get started with Dennis. He's on my top left screen. Dennis, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Welcome here. My name is Dennis Baer. I'm president of the Arts and Sciences Alumni Society.
Awesome. Thank you. And Molly, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Molly Berger. I am the Alumni Engagement Coordinator for the College of Food, Ag, and Environmental Sciences.
Thank you. And Stephanie, do you want to go next?
Stephanie Baxter, president of the Optometry Alumni Society.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, Sarah Hayslip. Sorry if there's more than one Sarah.
There we go. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
No worries.
And I'm the president-elect of the College of Veterinary Medicine Alumni Society.
Great. Thank you for joining us. Maddie, do you want to go next?
Hi, Maddie Kerma, Engagement Officer for the College of Arts and Sciences.
Awesome. Michelle, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Michelle Thomas. I'm the Director of Alumni and Constituent Engagement for the College of Pharmacy.
Thank you. Elaine, would you like to go next?
Hi, Elaine McLaughlin Overholt. I'm with the John Glenn College of Public Affairs. I am the event manager, but as we are working through some reorgs in our department and the hiring freeze, I will be helping out Lisa Frericks with some of our alumni relations activities for the time being.
Great. Thank you for joining us. Jessie?
Thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessie Crawford, Assistant Director of Alumni Engagement with the College of Medicine, and I work with the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences Alumni Society.
Great, thank you. And I think Dr. Reed, I see you're on the line. Are you able to introduce yourself?
I am. Susan Reed, I'm current president of the College of Vet Med Alumni.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, and I think that might be Michelle. I'm not sure. I see F-I-E-M.
Yep, that's me, Michelle Fifield. I represent the College of Education and Human Ecology, the Board of Alumni.
Great, thanks for joining us. Michael, would you like to go next?
Yes, hi. I'm Michael Haddock. I'm the Assistant Director of Alumni Engagement for the Ohio State University College of Optometry.
I like your background, Michael. It's fun.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie, you want to go next?
Sorry. Yes, Carrie Garrich. I'm the president of the Knowlton School Alumni Society.
Awesome. Thank you. And Zeb?
Hi, everyone. I am Zeb Purdon. I am the president of the College of Public Health Alumni Society.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I see Lisa's iPad. It might be Lisa Frericks?
No, it's Lisa Dirk. I'm president-elect of Arts and Sciences Alumni Society.
Oh, great. Thank you for joining us. Okay, is that you, Bonnie, Bates.6? Okay, I think that is Bonnie Bates. She serves on the staff for the Vet Med. Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
No
You're right. I'm the Alumni Engagement Director for the College of Veterinary Medicine. Hi, everyone.
Hi, thanks for joining us. Now, are you on the countdown now, Bonnie, for retirement, re-retirement?
Yeah, that's the big question. I was intending June 30th, but again, with the hiring pause, we're probably extending it a bit longer, at least through the summer.
Well, you're a great person to be on their team, so we're glad to have you.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay. Kelsey?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey Hegel. I'm the Alumni Engagement Chair for the John Glenn College of Public Affairs.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And we have Yolanda.
Hello, this is Yolanda Owens, and I'm president-elect of the College of Food, Ag, and Environmental Sciences Alumni Society Board.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining us. We did a separate conversation with our special interest societies last evening. Some great ideas came from them, but we really wanted to give you all an opportunity to connect with each other, since the academic societies do have a little bit of a unique way of functioning when you are aligned with a college or a department or unit. So we wanted to allow you all to get together as well and have some conversations and dialogue around events, ideas, and kind of what some challenges might be. We do have just a couple of quick notes to share at the beginning, and then we're going to open it up for conversation. We did also have a few questions that were submitted in the RSVP, so we'll go over those as well. But first, just a couple of reminders. If you would like to ask a question, please use the chat box, and you can message everyone, or if there's a person individually you'd like to send a message to, go ahead and use that field. The other option, or the other reminder, is just to let you know, if you aren't speaking, please mute your speaker. And then when you are speaking, unmute, which is something we're all struggling with at times. Then when you do speak, if you could just remind us which group you're with, that would be helpful. And then that's about it for our housekeeping. We are recording. You might have gotten the notification to say that this meeting is being recorded. We're going to upload this to our group's website so that folks who weren't able to participate are still able to check that out afterwards. And then we just have a couple brief updates. So I'll let you know about those. First is football tickets. I know our update is kind of not an update, but really right now everything is on hold until we receive more information about upcoming football season. I know a lot of people are wondering what that will look like, what homecoming will look like, and right now we don't know. We're waiting to learn more about that. The dates that we've heard would be mid-June, so we're thinking by that point we'll have a better sense of what the fall will look like in general, not just for football season, but we'll have a better idea of what other things will be looking like at that time. For right now, if your group did request football tickets, everything is on hold. So you won't receive an invoice until we know what's going to happen with the football season. So that is the first update. The other update from us is that our symposium that we host every year, the Club and Society Leadership Symposium, we have made the decision to move that to a virtual experience. We are just really concerned about everyone's health and well-being, and we want to make sure that people are safe and actually feel good about coming and experiencing that event. So we won't be hosting that in person on campus like we have every year, but we will make that a virtual experience, and there will be more information coming out about that later this week. And then the last note is just how critical it is for us to be updating our websites. So for those of you who utilize Workfront and have an OSUAA managed website, please make sure that you're submitting a Workfront request to get those updated. That is a great opportunity for your alumni to connect with your group. So we want to make sure that even if you're not doing a lot of events or programming, at least your website is up to date with your current information. And then for those of you who are college groups, you can work with your arrow to make sure that the information on your alumni page is up to date as well. All right, so for now, we're going to go ahead and just quickly get into the questions that we received through the RSVP. And then we'll allow you all to kind of talk about maybe some things that you've done that were successful, or some ideas you have and how others might be able to help support that. The first question we received was, do we know when OSU will open to on-site events again? Right now we don't. We do know that at least for our staff, we'll be working from home through the month of June. So we know that no in-person events were happening through July 6th. Which was the end of the summer term. So for now, we know at least through July 6th. Beyond that, we're expecting more information mid-June, like we were just mentioning before. Another question that we received was about Carmen Zoom, and will alumni societies have access to Carmen Zoom? So there's a couple ways to have access to Carmen Zoom. Carmen Zoom is really Ohio State's paid version of a Zoom account. If you have an OSU email, you can access Carmen Zoom. So all you would need to do is log in with your OSU username and password. If you are associated with a department, you will have a staff member who can help you with that. So the arrow who is with your group will be able to assist with setting up a Carmen Zoom, either a board meeting or a virtual event. We also do have support for our societies through the Alumni Association. So if you need additional support, in addition to your arrow, we can help with that as well. There is an opportunity to request virtual board meeting support as well as virtual event support. And not just by setting up a Carmen Zoom for your group, but our advancement events team can serve as sort of a consultant to talk about what the experience would look like for you to host an event virtually that may have been an in-person event all the way, every year. And so, and could be a big signature program that you still want to move forward with. Our advancement events team is able to help consult and sort of help plan around how that might look and what the best experience will be for your event. One of our groups, nursing, actually just submitted a request. They're doing a wine tasting and silent auction. They do it every year. It's a really big event, but they're trying to think about what are the best ways to, number one, get people wine, to provide a silent auction, what is the best vendor to work with. So those are the types of things that they can be really helpful with. They don't necessarily need to plan the whole event for you, but they might serve as a great resource. The other thing that's nice is if they are engaged in that conversation, they can share back those resources with the others in our groups that might benefit from having that information. So just to let you know that that is available to you, and let us know if that's of interest to you. The third question that we received in the chat was homecoming tailgate plans. Again, like we talked about at the beginning, mid-June is when we're expecting to know more information around that. All right, anyone have questions about any of that we just covered? Okay, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started with our conversations then. And first, I think what might be helpful is to have anybody who has already done an event that was a virtual event that has been successful. If you want to talk about that and share how that worked and what kind of the good things about that were, I would love to hear from you all. Does anybody want to get started?
I can go if you'd like.
Sure.
So I'm Michael Haddock again. I'm with the College of Optometry. I'm the Alumni Engagement Officer, Alumni Relations Officer, if you will. We did something called the Best Damn Zoom Call in the Land, and that involved having our dean speak to a group of our key volunteers just about what is going on at the college. We've been communicating with our alumni pretty regularly about what the university and the college is doing, but this was an opportunity for those individuals to ask the dean point blank how she has been, what the college has been doing, specifically as a graduating class of 2020, as well as how the clinic has been able to transition into a slowdown role since it's been catering to patients from the entire state of Ohio. And that's always a huge undertaking that our college does. So that's been really well done. We've enjoyed having fun with it, especially with the whole Best Damn Zoom Call in the Land. It's been very difficult to pronunciate it, and it's not like to biddle. It's got like a Z in there, so it kind of threw a wrench into the programming there. But the first one went so well that we're planning on doing one again in the coming weeks, and we're looking forward to talking with our optometrists about what it's been like going back into patient care, specifically as it's related to having patients in the chair. We know some of our optometrists have been able to see patients in parking lots, and that's been a different type of patient care as well. So we're going to be exploring those things, but it's been a really unique opportunity for our people to come into the conversation with the dean. And finally, we modeled the whole discussion after our Optometry Alumni Society board meetings. So similar to how your platforms probably exist in your respective groups, you come in, you meet with key leaders in your units, whether that be your dean or key faculty and stuff like that, and providing some unique insight that they wouldn't get anywhere else. Finally, I just wanted to share, I was on a Zoom call yesterday with another organization I'm involved with here in Columbus, And the person leading the call referenced that that Zoom call in particular was going to have Vegas rules, which I thought was fun. So whatever happens in the Zoom call stays in the Zoom call. I thought that was pretty enjoyable, but the reason why I'm sharing that is the whole intention of that comment was that it would allow people to kind of express some frustrations or concerns or personal issues they're having with like-minded people who are sharing in those experiences without making there be any sort of judgment or fear that they would take that information and share it elsewhere. And I did allow some people to open up in ways that they might not have otherwise. So just wanted to share those comments. Thank you.
Probably
That's
should mention the fact that
amazing.
we are recording this Zoom meeting, so I guess that it could always leak out.
Yes, we plan to link it to our website. So yes, this won't stay here, but I love that. And I think that's something we all crave right now and really can benefit from, just feeling that one-on-one or many people on one support and personal connection. I think everybody can really benefit from feeling like you're in a safe space and you can be vulnerable. That's a good, really great thing. Carrie, did you have a comment or were you saying good job?
Good
Thumbs
job.
up. Okay. Also, I was on one of the board meetings for optometry, and hearing from the dean was really, really fantastic because they can provide updates that everyone is interested in, and really everybody, especially on the board, is really wanting to know how things are for the graduating students. You know, it's just super critical, I think, right now to be able to keep people in the loop. So it was really beneficial, even for me, who's not a member of the optometry alumni, to just be able to see that connection that the dean provided. So definitely, I think using the folks at your disposal who can connect and engage with your alumni is a really great way to go, especially right now. Does anyone else have anything they've done virtually that they'd like to talk about, Mark?
Yeah, I can share that. Back in the fall here, back in the fall, I'm losing track of time here. Back in the spring here in April, we had our Earth Day at Ohio State event, which was a webinar that was put on by our the Environmental Professionals Network and the basically OSU Sustainability Institute that we collaborated with them as well. And that was a really well attended event. We had about 500 people that participated in that from a variety of different areas. It was we had done a few things with EPN previously for we have our morning breakfasts that we have each month as part of the Environmental Professionals Network, and they had gone to webinars to do a couple of those. So they had a little experience in terms of pulling those off. But Earth Day event, I thought it was good, but there's always this learning curve of trying to make things like, for example, if any of you even attended that, President Drake was supposed to be on there, and we were talking about whether he should record his message or be live, and he wanted to be live, and then he ran into technical difficulties from where he was and wasn't able to actually give his portion of the Earth Day event talk. And basically the moderator, Josh Knight, had to fill the gap and basically make his remarks for him. It worked out okay. Josh did a nice job of saving the day, but it was like kind of disappointing because we were all excited to have President Drake. So it's just something to think about. It's those lull times, the technology gaps that you run into along the way, and keeping it stimulating. I found sometimes, as interesting the topic was, sometimes it got a little dull. And part of, and it's just, you get too scientific in a community like that too. I think you start to lose people. So you have to find that balance for those types of things. But we're looking at other opportunities and where there's partnerships, things that are already being produced that we could take advantage of and hop on as more of a watch type of event and things like that. So we're very excited. I mean, there's several of the groups that are putting on some things related to COVID-19 and being safe, and how do you adjust in this type of world, in terms of where we are, depending on how much longer we're going to be here. So that was just something we had done. We've had some Zoom exec council meetings, but we haven't done a whole lot on our own yet in terms of events. But we've talked about some things as we transition back for where we might be able to go through the summer and then into early fall, depending on where the university is after they make a decision. So that's kind of what I have to share.
Great, thank you so much. That's really helpful. So we did get a question from Dr. Reed. Have any other societies with essential personnel had any sort of support Zoom meetings for those essential personnel folks? I saw that Molly shared that CFAES has not. Has anybody else who has essential workforce folks in your group had any conversations like that? I don't see any hands, but I do think that's definitely a really great idea. And one of the groups, it wasn't necessarily geared toward essential personnel, and I think that is a really great idea, especially considering that we haven't seen that yet. I think that really provides value when it's something that's new and different, especially relevant right now too. One of the groups that we talked with last night, they're a special interest society, but they hosted an event that they called a happier hour, and they had a couple of their board members talk through the dimensions of wellness, and everyone did kind of a wellness wheel, and then they talked about not only what wellness looks like in general, but how to do self-care and keep yourself well during this pandemic and how important that is. So I think that's a really great idea. They also were willing to partner with other groups and have those folks who facilitated that conversation would be willing to facilitate with your group. So if that's of interest to any of you, if you'd want to host something like that, let me know. I'm happy to share contact information. It was Dunn Sports and Wellness Scholars Alumni Society. So I know that's a long name, but I'm happy to get you in touch with them if anyone is interested in that. It definitely had a wellness focus, but also I think lifelong learning, if you're looking at the different category events, but really relevant, and I think something that anyone could benefit from at this point. Does anyone have any other event ideas that you're thinking of hosting and that you might want to partner with, or something that you're kind of figuring out a challenge and how you're going to move forward with?
I can add two things, Julie. I'm Stephanie Baxter from the College of Optometry. One thing that our dean had some of the alumni do is reach out to the students that graduated. We graduate around the mid 60-ish number, so it's not an unreasonable number to divvy up. But since they couldn't have an in-person graduation, just personally call the new alumni, welcome them to our society, welcome them to the profession. I personally reached out to 3, have talked to one several times. I'm supposed to talk to another one this evening. We finally connected. So that was really nice, I think, just for a personal touch. And then in a local Michiana alumni group that we've actually just started, and we have our first board meeting via Zoom on Thursday. It's kind of hard as a new group, but we were thinking, can we reach out to some local grads who are back home now in our area? They didn't get the whole graduation feel. And what can we do to not only welcome them, but maybe like, congratulations gift, things like that. So that's kind of on our radar for 2 separate groups.
And Stephanie, I might be able to follow up that we're doing something, Knowlton Alumni Society, similar. We have about 230, so in lieu of calling, we're going to just write a very simple 3 to 5 sentence handwritten note, maybe include a business card. And then we haven't worked out all the kinks, but we're going to do like a $5 gift card. We would typically present the graduates with some type of a pen or a t-shirt or something. Since we're not doing that, we're trying to figure out how we could send an email with a link to like an Amazon card or a Starbucks card or something like that. So that's what we're looking to do.
Thank you for sharing that, Carrie. One of the things that I thought was really awesome in the board meeting last week when you all were talking about that outreach to the graduating students was just about the uncertainty with the job field and the hiring freezes and what the beginning of their career journey is going to look like and how scary that can be. So providing that business card or even that opportunity to connect with a professional in their industry and in their field, I think will mean a lot to these students and is something that they can really, really benefit from. Just kind of hearing from someone who's worked in the field and might have some insights and maybe even just can listen to how scary things are for them and build that personal connection. So thank you for being so thoughtful with that opportunity. And I think that is a great opportunity for the rest of our groups too. I know it might be challenging for groups like arts and sciences who have lots and lots and lots of graduating students. How do you identify which ones to do something special for? But finding a way to connect and provide that personal connection is, I think, really critical right now. Great ideas and great, thanks for sharing. Does anyone else have other ideas about outreach for graduating students or incoming students that they want to talk about, or ideas that you think might be a good thing to try?
This is Zeb with the College of Public Health Alumni Society. One thing that we're doing is our alumni coordinator put together a summer mentorship program, connecting newly graduating students and students who are in their junior year moving into their senior year with recent alumni in order to give them some information over the summer as to what to look for in your first job and how to navigate finding a job and things like that. So that is just getting up off the ground. I just got an email from my mentee, I think last Wednesday or Thursday. So it's supposed to last all summer long and give them, an in into the field where they can then build off of that for the rest of their network.
Awesome. Great, thank you for sharing. Anyone else have anything? It doesn't have to be student related. I think Michelle, do you have a mentorship program with pharmacy? What does that look like? Can you share with others? I know Katie was interested. Katie from social work reached out with some questions. I think others might want to hear about that too, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so much like Zeb said, the College of Pharmacy also did a quick program through the pandemic. So we paired our 3rd and 4th year students with alumni so that they can network, see what it's like once you start in the force and kind of build those relationships. And so far, it has led to one student even receiving a internship out in New Jersey at a pharmaceutical company. So it's been really successful. And we are also working on creating that program for the academic year. So this summer, we're going to work on alumni to participate in the program, and then once the fall semester starts, we'll connect with all 4 of our PharmD classes, P1 through P4, to recruit them to participate in the program, and that will be a year-long event. So we'll do different touch bases throughout that time period to make sure that they're connecting and getting from it what they're looking for, and then help them in that way, because all we want to do is help the students make those connections and decide what they want to do in the future. So whether that's connecting a student to lives in California because that's where they're looking to go after graduation, form those relationships the best methods that we can.
Michelle, I think Caitlin mentioned that she got the idea from another society. So I
talked to her about it.
Okay.
And so this is Susan Reed from VetMed. Michelle, can you give us a little bit more in-depth look at the actual functionality behind that? Like, did they sign up? Was there a website? How does that actually functionally look and work? Who starts it? Who sends who to what to who?
Sure. So for the Flash Mentor program that we're basically running from mid-April through the end of July, it was done. I literally planned it within 2 weeks. So it was really quick. We were not able to have the opportunity to get a website up and running. So we just posted it to our alumni through our monthly e-news. And then we sent out emails to the P3 and P4 classes. And then I also worked with those student presidents, the class reps, to help promote that program. So it was all voluntary. So alumni portion, they just signed up if they wanted to participate, and same for the students. With that, I asked very general questions since I was trying to get this done pretty quickly. So I asked the students what area they were looking to go into for pharmacy, and then asked the alumni the same questions so that I could pair them as closely as possible. And then for the full mentor program that we're doing and kicking off for this fall, that one will have a web page on our website, and it will have electronic version to sign up. So where before they literally were just emailing me because it was so quick, we'll have a real avenue to get them to fill out a few questions, go a little bit more in depth about the alumni's experience so that we can gather if they did a residency, where they are working, where they live, so that when we collect that same information from the student of their interest, that we can pair them correctly. So for example, there's a lot of students who are looking to go into health system pharmacy. And so we had a lot of volunteers who are alumni in the program that that have that experience too. So we're able to pair them together. So it was just going a bit more in depth, but moving forward, we are currently working on creating a survey for them to fill out, and also creating a website with more information. But for the Flash Mentor program, like I said, I had 2 weeks to turn it around, so it was very quick, and they basically just emailed me directly. So we had about 16 alumni participate in the program and 17 students, and we're hoping to have around 75 to 100 for the full semester academic year for next year, since we'll have all 4 classes. We originally had just started focusing on the students who were graduating, since it was very much changed their experience. And then we also decided to include our P3 class, because typically they receive a mock interview event, and that was canceled, and that was a great way for them to network with alumni. So this mentor avenue is able to provide that opportunity as well.
Thanks a bunch.
You're welcome.
Hey, Julie, the Arts and Sciences is on its 3rd year of a mentorship program, Mentor 100. So we have 100 students going through. We have a formal manual, formal modules. It's run joint by the Career Success, working with the Advancement Office and the Alumni Society. But it's been very well. Next year is the Mentor 150 program to align with the 150th. But it's a formal process, very successful feedback surveys. So anybody that wants more information on that, let me know.
Wonderful. And so Dennis or anybody can speak to, how are these programs different because of the virtual, or is it something that has already existed it could be done in a virtual setting, or were there things changed to make this work in a virtual setting?
So, and our requirement is you have to meet in person twice during the academic year, so everything can be virtual. I live in Virginia, so most all of mine, I'm up at Ohio State a lot, but I use GoToMeeting now, Zoom, to do virtual, but I do 2 or 3 of them. So, and I think virtual end up being good, because we have alumni all over the country and the world into there. So we'll be looking at, transition to more virtual. So both in person required and also virtual.
We've also had some events that are career conversations with alumni, where we've had students sign up to pop into a Zoom meeting with alumni to talk about different career topics, where the alum can talk about their experience for a little while and then do a Q&A sort of session. We'll do some of those over the summer semester as well, but did do a few throughout the month of April and May.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone have events that you're thinking about hosting or would like to host, but aren't really sure how you can do that or what it would look like?
A question I had about that was that during this time, as academic societies, for the past few years, we've had a hard time sometimes differentiating between what are society events and what are the college events. Because if they're for alumni, it was just alumni programming. And I think that this is a good time to really say, no, this is a society event hosted by the society, and then these are the things hosted by the college. We've had 2 webinars so far for the college to highlight faculty and research that is going on right now. We had a history of pandemics featuring the history department faculty. We had an election panel with political science, and next week econ. And but we're looking to our society board to think of ideas to provide some of those more fun and engaging opportunities, and what are some other takes or ways that they can interact and provide content, so that it's not all just the academic faculty sort of programming. But also interested in working with all of you on some of that more academic faculty research sort of content, but also think about what are those other opportunities for societies to provide something different.
Thank you, Craig, for sharing. He shared the link for the virtual programming guide that is listed on our group's website. With that, there are suggestions and ideas for events that you can have a virtual event for the different categories. So all the different category 1 events are listed there, just ideas and suggestions for those. And I know we were looking at potentially if anybody wants to maybe try one of these before June 30th, before the end of the fiscal year, to see if anything, might resonate with your group or see how it goes as a virtual event. A couple of the groups that I work with have done a few things that I think were really well received virtually. And I know I mentioned the wellness happy hour that Dunn Sports and Wellness did earlier, but we also have another group who has done several different virtual events, and they have been well received. I think some of the things that they focused on were one, providing a variety of programming that would appeal to lots of different folks. So some things are family friendly, some things are more like young alum, like more networking or happy hour focused, some things are wellness focused, but they had kind of a wide variety of those. And then they were also utilizing the alumni in their network who they have access to. So a few of the examples were Cheer and Brutus have done a really great job with coming up with ideas for how to do some different virtual program ideas. One of them is they had an alum who works for a gym and works for Barry's boot camp. And so he did a morning workout, which was like a boot camp workout. Craig actually participated in it. I don't know how well it went on the end experience, but I think that was one thing that they did to engage in a wellness or an exercise way. They also partnered with 2nd and 7. And they did a book reading, a virtual reading with Brutus and a cheerleader. So they're, again, calling on the resources they have that are unique to their group. I know all of us are jealous that we can't get Brutus on a Zoom call, but what they did, which was cool, is they partnered with 2nd and 7, and they provided a book for all the kids who signed up, and then they did story time. And so Brutus held the book up on the screen, and one of the current cheerleaders actually read the book. It was really fun. It was cute. It only took about 15 or 20 minutes, and then it was bedtime for all the kids. So it was cool that they did that. They also did a dessert tasting with one of their alums owns a bakery. So that was a way to support the alums business, but also connect, and did like a taste off where the kids got to try different desserts and vote on which one they liked the best. They have done, just a variety of different things, but I think one of the things that they're really focusing on is who do they have in their network that they can call on to share their expertise in a way that's a little bit different from what others may be able to get on their own. So providing that experience that they can't get otherwise is something I think is really cool. They also did a beer tasting. They worked with Platform Brewery, and they did deliveries to the homes of the alums who signed up in Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus. Another one of my groups did this too, and it was super successful. Then they got on a Zoom meeting with someone from the brewery and talked about all the different types of beer. And it was a lifelong learning event that they really enjoyed. It was super well received. I'm sure their alums are ready to do that again. So those are just a couple ideas of things that they've done that I think were really successful. Does that have any idea? Yeah.
So to add in to Dennis's question, you just heard a great variety of activities that some of the groups are doing, and that's what I can envision some of the college societies doing, taking on some of those fun projects. Matter of fact, even our social media director, Neelam, is willing to do a live trivia night for you. So I know HRS has done a successful trivia night in the past. This might be something that you can tap into her resources. So for example, she did a Schitt's Creek trivia for a bunch of us friends. Well, you probably have a lot of your alums who are big fans of the show, and she could do that for you. She's working on a Buckeye trivia night as well. I think one of the things we have to be careful about with Zoom is, as all of you realize, we're getting zoomed out. we're in 5 hours of Zoom meetings all during the day, and then to be invited to a Zoom event at night sometimes can get old. So I think, again, being creative, and that's, I love what Cheer and Brutus has done. It's not bringing in huge numbers, but it's bringing in different alums, and it's bringing in family-friendly activities. This dessert tasting was just amazing, and it was just creative and different. And the best part was you signed up and the food got delivered to your home, which was really unique. So I guess to say, Dennis, is that think about some of those fun activities that could be the society's responsibility for scheduling. And as Maddie has referenced, college events, maybe are the more academic side of things for the time that we're in right now. I've always felt that the college society boards could really do a great job if they took on the focus of figuring out how to engage local alumni, whereas the college has the task of engaging alumni across the board and across the world. So just some thoughts that I have.
And Craig, just one quick question. Everybody keeps saying dessert tastings, and obviously there have been a lot of wine tastings and beer tastings, but I know one of our alums did an event for another organization, and it was a cheese tasting delivered to your house. So for somebody who really wants something different, some of the local small dairies and providers will definitely do that and work with you on providing that to people in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. And helping to support the local establishments is really important at this time of year. I think what I really like about that, I know cheerleaders with this dessert tasting, there was no cost to the alum, but the society paid the bill and then submitted the program reimbursable funds to get some of that money back. So again, very creative use of reimbursable programming money.
I think the one thing that I've noticed with some of those sort of programs is that the groups are smaller, and they can, if they get 25 people out of their 200 alumni, that's a good number. But in these larger groups, we'd have to seriously cap or narrow in on who could be invited, because our society funds wouldn't go as far with our alumni base. Which might be a little bit less of a draw if we can't provide it to people for free, but they would have to buy their own beer for their beer tasting. Then why wouldn't they just buy beer and drink it on their own? Or, and thinking of like ways that we could partner, or what other things we can do to make that stretch.
Yeah, and Maddie, in the case of the beer tasting, the alums had to purchase the beer because they had to enter the information for delivery as well. So again, and I don't see anything wrong with capping things out. You want to cap it at 50, cap it at 50. And if it becomes really popular, folks will not wait to sign up the next time around. You also have the opportunity to do programming specific to each of your different units within arts and sciences. So really being able to provide a wide variety. I go back to, where are some of the things that are really easy wins? And I think of the great sports and society initiative that they did with that interview with Kirk Herbstreit, and 700 people watched. Again, tap into your alumni base. Who are some of those folks that have time to be able to do a 1 hour, kind of like somewhat of a webinar panel / interesting coffee chat, I think that's the other thing. I just saw one of the cruise lines that that we work with on our tours, Oceana, is doing a virtual tea at 4 o'clock today. That's what time tea is served on the ship. And so think about the unusual, inviting someone for a coffee chat for 45 minutes and have a featured speaker gives you that opportunity to do things differently.
So one thing, and Maddie, this might be a good idea in thinking of scale, that College of Food, Ag, and Environmental Science has kind of toyed around with is looking specifically at just our board members and doing an event that's exclusive just for our board members, because so many times they only get together for board meetings or to be, workers at events. There's not a lot of social time. And we noticed at the beginning of some of our board meetings, both virtually and in person, it's hard to get things going because everyone just wants to catch up because it's been months since they've seen each other. So our board president is working on kind of coming up with some kind of social element event that would be exclusive for just them. Because I think it goes back to, I think what Julie was saying about, you know, lots of Zoom calls and balance and wellness and self-care. You know, if you're in 5 hours of Zoom calls a day, sometimes you just need some levity at the end of the day with people. Still in a Zoom call, but.
That's true. And actually, Molly, you did a great job for your board meeting that I Zoomed into with the breakout rooms. So you guys had a little icebreaker activity where you did the breakout rooms where you could have kind of side conversations that weren't necessarily business for the board meeting. And I thought that was really cool. And maybe that is a function of Zoom that could be utilized for that type of event too, where you could actually put folks into breakout rooms and they can just have more social conversations, or, you know, you could utilize that as an opportunity, I think, which you guys did a great job for your board meeting. But I love the idea of, we ask our volunteers to do a lot on behalf of us and our units and our colleges. And so what can we do that's not necessarily business or work related, that can be just more fun and social? So I think that's a great idea, especially for our groups that have a huge number of alums. And how can you figure out a manageable number of people to be engaging with? And thank you, Craig. I see that there was a question in the chat about the activity requirements for the tiers. We are planning to have that conversation this week, so we'll be sharing that out with you all soon. We do anticipate it to look a little different this coming year. So I'm looking forward to us all learning and working through that together. All right, does anyone have any questions or anything that you want to ask others? I know Maddie put in the chat earlier that she was interested in potentially partnering with other societies. Are there other arrows or society leaders who would be interested in potentially trying to collaborate with other groups, or anything that you think might be of interest to each other that you want to share about now? I think the other opportunity, and we've sort of made this a specific roundtable for our academic groups, but there are a lot of opportunities to partner and collaborate with alumni clubs that are geographically based, as well as the special interest societies too. So we can be helpful in sharing contact information for folks if that's of interest to you all. I know some of you have already been in touch with other group leaders to talk about collaboration, but especially like Dr. Baxter was mentioning, with the alums moving to different areas, that might be an opportunity to partner with a local alumni club in that area to really have the local connection back to that geographic region where students graduated from and maybe moving to. So another opportunity would be connecting with those clubs as well. All right, awesome. Well, it looks like, I think everybody who had questions, does anyone else have any questions or anything else you want to share now? Craig?
And Julie, you may have already brought this up, but I noticed it wasn't in the notes for the club meeting tonight. The Club and Society Awards for 2020, the application process is open and live. Those are due by August 10th, and you'll find that on the group's page. So definitely great opportunity for you to nominate your key leaders for the Pay It Forward Award, Innovative Program, Program of the Year, and then Society of the Year.
Awesome, thank you for that reminder. That's a great addition. Awesome, well, I don't think anybody else has any questions, but of course, if you do have questions or ideas that you'd like to share out, or if you are interested in getting connected with other groups, please feel free to reach out. We are here to help. We know that this is difficult to navigate, and this isn't the only thing that's difficult to navigate, but life is difficult to navigate right now. So we appreciate you all being available, connecting with each other, connecting with us, and keeping your alumni engaged. We could not do any of our work without you. So thank you all so much. And we look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Yeah, the last thing I would like to add is if there are topics that you would like to see us continue to bring groups together like this, I think one of the things that we've learned out of all of this is that we do have the opportunity to be in touch much more often than what we have been in the past. Because I think all of you realize the exchanging of ideas and hardships really helps understand how to come up to this together versus trying to figure it out on your own. So please work with Julie directly so that we can continue to schedule these roundtables throughout the year. And thanks again for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. You have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Hi, thank you.
Bye-bye.